Hi everyone! So let me show you what I do when I get PTSD from painting Warhammer and I don't want to paint anything closely even related to those types of models. So let's go into this video. Well, so what I do is I pick an alternative model. But it is quite enough for my brain. It can be something, for example, that would perfectly fit into Warhammer 30k, 40k, Age of Sigmar, Fantasy, Blood Bowl, whatever. But for me, it just doesn't matter. When I pick something totally different, I am totally fine with it. So, as you have seen, the model went through a usual phase of cleaning, priming, black layer, and then I did something unusual for me, which is a white zenithal. So normally I don't do a white zenithal because this is an additional coat of paint on the model, but in this instance he has so many muscles that it would make more sense to give it a white zenithal because then it's easier for me to paint it. And I always, of course, take a lot of pictures, but most of the time I just forget that I took them and just go on with the painting. So more or less the overall plan is always to paint from big to small. And in this case, as in any other model, try to paint the hidden areas first. And what do I mean by that? Just have a look at your model and try to paint something that's more deep inside. For example, when you would be painting something else later, there would be no occasion to touch it with your brush. And this can be, for example, anything larger. And by larger, I mean, for example, something that has smaller areas that you will have to paint later. Something that's deeper in the model. So I started then with giving an overall coat to the skin and coat, and giving the coat some highlights and some shadows. And then I airbrushed the skin. This took way less time than painting it by brush. And what was really important for me this time, I painted all of the other details black to not forget to paint them later. Because very often when you airbrush something, you get the same color on other details that should be different a bit later, and then you just don't see them and forget about them. So I thought I had a very good idea, so I started painting small stripes on the coat to imitate little pieces of fur on it. So very often this gives a very good overall effect, but this time I think I have chosen a too dark paint. The fur that he has on his coat was painted using the same colors and it looked much better. And I also decided that all of the elements, smaller elements on his coat as well as his pants will be red. So guys, then I started painting the skin and I won't get much into this topic. This is a very well known and described thing on YouTube, so if you want to see, for example, a tutorial on how to paint skin, I would recommend checking out Squidmar's videos. Just remember guys, to make a separation between all of the muscles and paint with a lighter paint all of the areas going more up because they catch more of the light. Cover more or less 80% of the previously painted area with a lighter paint and you will be fine. Then I moved into some other details, like for example his boots, some leather parts or the horn that he has on his right side. And those went on pretty quick. Just remember guys that those things are not the focus of your model, but do not slack off with them, because if you combine all of the models together, it will really make your model pop. And very often those little areas, those little details are points of separation between all of the other big blocks on your model. So the main focus of the model was supposed to be his muscles and the weapon. And I was thinking a lot about it, how to paint the weapon. And then a friend suggested a jade-like looking cover. Well, shit! Why not? And this was the perfect time and place to test something new like this. So I painted his weapons with a grey N.B.W and filled the little things on the blade with a white paint. Then I airbrushed them green, giving also a small light effect on his muscles. The blade itself on the weapon got a green N.B.W, and then it was just doing the rest of the model. So guys, and this is how the finished model looks like. In my opinion, it looks really nice. Of course, there are many things that I could have done better or differently, but I'm more or less happy with how he came out. And what's the most important thing, he was a much needed distraction in all of the Warhammer models that I currently paint. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment, I will really appreciate it. So thanks a lot guys for joining me today. You are all great and I really mean that. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give a like, give a share, comment under the video. Also please have a look at my Patreon and my Instagram. So take care guys and see you in the next one. And don't forget, the Emperor protects.